Overboard and Beyond, 10 Gruesome Cruise Ship Deaths. Welcome back to Creepshow, where we navigate the uncharted waters of the macabre. Tonight, we set sail into dark tales of luxury gone horribly wrong, stories of tragic ends, unexplained mysteries, and crimes that unfolded on the open sea. Cruise ships promise carefree escapes to paradise, but for some, they became the setting for their final moments. From chilling murders to strange accidents, these tales prove that even in the lap of luxury, danger lurks just beneath the surface. So, grab your life jackets and hold on tight as we dive into these 10 haunting stories from the high seas. Number 10. The date rape drug death of Dianne Brimble. In September 2002, the P&O Pacific Sky departed Sydney, Australia, carrying 42-year-old Dianne Brimble, her daughter Talia, her sister Alma Wood, and her niece Carrie Ann. For Dianne, the cruise promised a much-needed escape, a time to relax and create cherished memories with her family. But on the morning of September 24th, Dianne's sister Alma awoke to an unsettling realization. Dianne hadn't returned to their cabin. By late morning, Alma was summoned to the ship's medical center. There, she was confronted with devastating news. Dianne had been found dead on the floor of a cabin occupied by 4 men. She was naked, and her death was shrouded in mystery. Investigators later revealed the horrifying truth. The men had drugged Dianne's drink at the ship's nightclub, using a substance known as the date rape drug. Toxicology reports confirmed the presence of gamma-hydroxybutyric acid, GHB, in her system. What followed was a media storm that exposed the dangers lurking aboard cruise ships and the dark underbelly of international waters. The case led to significant changes in cruise ship protocols, including the introduction of drug-sniffing dogs at boarding checkpoints. For Dianne's family, however, the reforms came too late. Dianne's tragic death serves as a chilling reminder of the vulnerabilities even in spaces designed for leisure and safety. Number 9. The Bloody Elevator Tragedy. It was December 27, 2015, when the Carnival Ecstasy became the site of a gruesome workplace accident. Jose Sandoval Opazo, a 66-year-old electrician, was conducting maintenance on an elevator shaft aboard the ship when the unthinkable happened. Somehow the safety mechanisms had been disabled, and Opazo was crushed to death inside the elevator shaft. What made the tragedy even more haunting was the aftermath. Witnesses described seeing blood seeping down the elevator doors, accompanied by the chilling sound of it dripping onto the floor. A passenger captured the aftermath on video, and the graphic footage quickly spread online, horrifying viewers worldwide. Investigators later determined that a safety protocol failure had contributed to Opazo's death, but no criminal charges were filed. The incident left an indelible stain on Carnival's reputation and served as a somber warning about the hidden dangers of life at sea. Number 8. Star-Crossed Lovers and the Tasman Sea. In May 2013, newly engaged couple Paul Rossington and Kristen Schroeder boarded the Carnival Spirit for what should have been a romantic getaway. But their voyage took a tragic turn after a heated argument was caught on security cameras. Later that night, Kristen climbed over the railing of their cabin balcony on the ship's 5th level. She clung to the edge for a moment before slipping and tumbling to the sea below. Her body struck the ship's 3rd level and a lifeboat before vanishing into the waves. Paul, who was in the cabin at the time, responded in a way that shocked investigators. Naked, he executed a dive off the balcony in an attempt to save her. His heroic effort, however, was in vain. Neither Paul nor Kristen was ever found, despite an intensive air and sea search that covered over 1,700 square kilometers. Their story remains a tragic example of how human emotions and the unforgiving ocean can create the perfect storm. Number 7. Murder-suicide at sea. Darla and John Banner seemed like a picture-perfect couple when they boarded the Rindam in March 2015. They were celebrating Easter with a 14-day Caribbean cruise, but their marital bliss hid dark undercurrents. Just months earlier, police had been called to the hospital where Darla was treated for a stab wound to her chest. John claimed it was a freak accident. He had tripped while holding an old military dagger, causing it to plunge into her. The explanation, though odd, was accepted at the time. However, tragedy struck again on board the Rindam. On April 2nd, Darla was found dead in her cabin, stabbed once again. Nearby, John's lifeless body was discovered. The FBI concluded it was a murder-suicide, a grim culmination of a relationship that had spiraled into violence. The Banner's deaths cast a shadow over the idyllic cruise and raised questions about warning signs missed before boarding. Number 6. A birthday cruise turns deadly. For Shirley McGill, a 5-night cruise to Mexico aboard the Carnival Elation was meant to be a celebration of her 55th birthday. But what began as a joyous occasion ended in tragedy when her husband, Robert McGill, killed her during a heated argument. In a fit of rage, Robert beat and strangled Shirley to death inside their cabin. His confession came swiftly, and he was sentenced to life in prison. The horrific act stunned fellow passengers, who were unaware of the storm brewing behind closed doors. It's a haunting reminder that even the most idyllic settings can harbor dark secrets. Number 5. The Newlywed Nightmare. Karen Waltz, 26, had barely begun her life with chiropractor Dr. Scott Roston when their honeymoon aboard the Star Dancer ended in tragedy. On Valentine's Eve in 1988, Karen fell overboard and perished. Initially, Scott claimed a gust of wind had knocked her off the ship's jogging track. However, witnesses reported a heated argument between the couple at dinner, and investigators found no evidence of strong winds at the time. When Scott's story fell apart, he turned to a bizarre defense. Israeli assassins had killed his wife. The jury didn't buy it. Scott was convicted of murder and sentenced to life, though his sentence was later reduced to 33 years. Karen's death serves as a grim reminder of how quickly love can turn to tragedy. Number 4. A fatal leap between floors. In 2012, 26-year-old Walter Buchnight attempted a daring jump between floors aboard the Carnival Fantasy while docked in Nassau. The leap ended in disaster when Walter lost his footing and fell to his death. Witnesses reported seeing blood pooling on the marble steps in the ship's lobby, a grim testament to the dangers of reckless actions. Walter's tragic accident became a cautionary tale for passengers, pushing the limits of safety aboard cruise ships. Number 3. The survivor who didn't survive. Birdie Africa was one of only 2 survivors of the Philadelphia police bombing of the MOVE organization in 1985. But his life ended in a bizarre tragedy aboard the Carnival Dream in 2013. Birdie, heavily intoxicated, drowned in a hot tub, while onlookers mistook his submerged body for a prank, or even art. Even worse, the ship's medical staff hesitated to act, revealing shocking lapses in emergency preparedness. Birdie's death was a cruel twist of fate for a man who had already survived so much. Number 2. A lover's leap. In November 2015, Bernardo Garcia Teixeira fell to his death from the oasis of the seas. Witnesses claimed he had been taunted with homophobic slurs by crew members shortly before the fall. Security footage showed Garcia Teixeira clinging to a balcony for over a minute before losing his grip. Despite family accusations of foul play, officials concluded his death was a suicide. Hurting. The tragedy raised awareness about discrimination on cruise ships and its deadly consequences. Number 1. A leap into darkness. On March 6, 2016, David Mossman jumped overboard from the Navigator of the Seas off the coast of Key Largo. A fellow passenger had reported witnessing his fall, and security footage confirmed the tragic event. David's body was never recovered, leaving behind unanswered questions and a grieving family. His case is a chilling reminder of how quickly joy can turn to despair aboard the open seas. These stories remind us that even in paradise, danger lurks. Thank you for sailing with us on Creepshow, where we navigate the darkest waters of humanity. Like, subscribe, and join us next time, if you dare.